Hello class, today we will be speaking about nutrition. This is lesson 3 in Natural Science and Technology for the grade 6s. The first thing we need to know is what is a balanced diet. Now, we know that there are different foods that are classified into the 4 food groups. Can you remember the 4 food groups from the previous lesson? Carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins and minerals, and fats and oils. The next step is to see what amount of each food group we need to eat regularly to stay healthy. This is called a balanced diet. And no, a balanced diet is not a cookie in each hand. Next, we will be looking at the food pyramids. A food pyramid provides us a guide to a healthy, balanced diet. It shows us how to classify food types into different levels. A healthy and balanced diet will include servings from each level of the food pyramid. Unfortunately, people often eat a very unhealthy diet and turn the food pyramids upside down. But the way the food pyramid should look is as follows. You need to eat a little amount of the food at the top, which would include your fats and oils and things like sweets. Then, the food in the middle of the pyramid, this one over here, which is vitamins and minerals, also known as fruits and vegetables, you should be eating in fair amounts. The one at the top of the vitamins and minerals is your proteins. You should eat less meat, chicken, fish, and other proteins, especially less than your vitamins and your minerals. Then you need to eat more of the food at the bottom of the pyramid, which is your bread and pasta, your rice, your cereal, etc. Why do you think we eat more carbohydrates if you think of the previous lesson? Yes, we need to eat more carbohydrates because it is the prime source of energy for our bodies. Now we will be looking at diseases caused by an unhealthy diet. There are many diseases caused by an unhealthy and unbalanced diet. There are many people in the world that do not or are not able to eat a healthy and balanced diet. So we have to look at the causes or reasons of a poor diet. The first one we find is diseases and infections. When people have a chronic illness such as HIV, they are sick for a very long time. Their bodies become weak and they cannot take in nourishment from the food that they do manage to eat, resulting in a poor diet. The next one is dietary practices. In many countries, people have a preference for certain foods, for example, rice, sump, or mealie meal. People eat a lot of this particular food type and do not get enough proteins or fats and oils in the diet. They also often cannot afford other food types, especially in developing countries. However, some families in developed countries do not eat enough fruit and vegetables, not out of choice, and they eat a lot of refined carbohydrates, which also leads to diseases and illnesses. The next one is poverty and high food prices. Poverty and high food prices stop many people from enjoying foods such as milk, meat, poultry, which is chicken, and fruit and vegetables. This has made it almost impossible to poor families to afford certain food groups. Some families can only afford one type of food group. And then lastly, food shortage. Sometimes famine occurs in a country where drought, poor farming knowledge and skill, and a lack of technology limit the yield of crops and herds of animals. This results in food shortage. In any of these situations, people will eat whatever food is available to them, often leading to an unhealthy diet. An unhealthy diet can lead to many health problems as the body does not get the right amount of the different food groups and therefore cannot function properly. As mentioned in the previous slide, an unhealthy diet can lead to many health problems. So now we will be having a look at the diseases and conditions due to an unhealthy, unbalanced diet. Often we get diseases and conditions because our bodies do not get the necessary nourishment. Here are some of these diseases. The first one is tooth decay. When you eat or drink too much sugar, the bacteria in your mouth makes acids that eat away at the tooth surface called enamel and causes cavities to form. The next disease we will be looking at is rickets. This is a condition mostly seen in babies and small children. When children do not get enough fruit and vegetables or vitamin D, their bodies cannot absorb calcium and they cannot grow strong bones. The next disease we will be looking at, or in this case, either a condition, is constipation. This is a condition and it's not a disease. It occurs when bowel movements, doing a number 2, becomes difficult and you don't regularly go, but it happens every few days or even a few weeks apart. The next one is obesity. This is also a condition and not a disease. And this is a condition where a person's body weight is more than 20% of the average weight for other people the same age and height. Diabetes. This is a disease that affects the body's ability to use blood sugar for energy. Diabetes symptoms may include an increased thirst and urination, blurred vision, and excessive tiredness. Anorexia nervosa. This is a life-threatening eating disorder where the patient starves themselves and deprives their bodies of nourishment to cause themselves to lose an unhealthy amount of weight. Lastly, we will be looking at kwashiorkor. This is a disease that affects many children. It is due to a lack of protein and iodine in their diets. Children suffering from this may have swollen hands and feet and especially a very large tummy. This then brings us to the end of our lesson for natural science and technology, and it's the lesson on nutrition. I hope that you understood and enjoyed today's lesson, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me.